Hey, what's up guys, it's STX Modern Warfare Gamer Chat Banjo Chicken and welcome to Hardware Tutorials. In this tutorial I'm going to show you my method of hot swapping, which I believe is the best method, the safest method, because I know a lot of tutorials, like every hot swap tutorial I have seen on YouTube, it's always, oh, you've got to swap the disk really fast in like half a second, and like when people try and do that and swap the disk as fast as they possibly can, they end up getting laser burns on the original disc or on the modded disc, or they scratch one of the discs and all hell breaks loose. But the point is, I have a much safer method where you can take your time when hot swapping and you don't have to swap the disc really fast. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first of all, you're going to have to open your Xbox 360 console up to where I've got to, which basically, if you don't know how to do that, look in the description of this video. There'll be a link to my tutorial, JTAG tutorial, Hardware Tutorials episode 1, where I show you how to open up a Phat console, this very console. Show you how to open it and get it to this stage. So if you haven't already done that, then check out that video. If you have and you've got it to this stage, then great, follow what I'm going to do. So first of all, we're going to have to disconnect the DVD drive, power cable and SATA cable that are plugged in. So just lift the DVD drive up and unplug both cables, and you got the DVD drive off. So we don't need the console right now. So first of all, we're going to have to open up this DVD drive. So turn it over and undo each screw. The screws are just standard star screwdriver type screws. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got all the screws out. So now what we're going to have to do is lift this drive off, and as far as I can see, there is a warranty. If you've never done this before or opened your disk drive before, there's a warranty sticker here. So yeah, you're going to have to rip it, I'm afraid. But if you are too cautious about that, I'm not sure if the hairdryer method works on this kind of seal, but you could try it. I wouldn't worry about that. Just break that seal and you'll be able to open it. So this can be very stiff if it's never been opened before, but wasn't too much of a problem for me. So there's my drive. There's different types of DVD drives, so they'll look slightly different, but you know, it's basically the same. So what you want to do now is get the magnet off. So to do that, you're going to have to peel back this beautifully laid sticker. Okay, there's a little plate here as well. Sometimes it's a metal plate. This looks like a plastic one. So to lift that up as well. Alright. There we go. So we've exposed the magnet at last. So what we want to do is just twist it to the left, and then it'll come off into two pieces, the bottom half and the top half, which then just go on top of each other, and you can twist it back on and then shove that back onto your disk drive. And now we're going to put this back into our console. So I need the console back. So place it opened into the console, plug back in the power and SATA data cable, so that slots in, and you have a console that's ready to be hot swapped. And then take your game out that you're going to be hot swapping. I'm going to use Call of Duty World at War. Just because I'm using Call of Duty World at War doesn't mean it's the only game. This method works with other games like Red Dead Redemption, Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2. Most Valve games have ISO mods, and there's GTA, GTA 4. There's other games that are hot swappable as well. I'm just using World at War as an example, but many other games work. So get your game, stick it in the tray, put the magnet on it so that it's fine. So now we're going to hook this up to the power and plug in our video input cables, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so there are three methods of hot swapping that you can use depending on the type of discs that you have, the type of DVD drive, and mainly the kind of mods that you're using. So I'm going to be showing you all three methods of hot swapping, because depending on the DVD drive, sometimes some methods will work for certain ones, some will not work. So I'm going to be showing you all three kind of methods of hot swapping for this tutorial. So first of all, put your disc in. I did change it, it was on World at War, I decided to do Left 4 Dead 2 instead. So you want to put the magnet on so that it's ready. Make sure you got your hard drive hooked up, or your storage device, whichever that is, and your power cables and your HDMI leads. And then what you want to do is turn the console on with the controller, or just by getting one of the screws on the power button. Put the sound on. Okay, so now that the console has booted up, try and position this. You can see there I've got Left 4 Dead 2, and what I need to do now what I'm going to do now is press X to go to game details, and then you want to hover over install now. So this is the first method of hot swapping. This is the most common method that most people do. Most common because it works, but it's not really the safest method of hot swapping, because you can damage the disc. So what you want to do is you're going to have to do this really fast, this first method, and get your disc ready. So I'll just put my modded one over there, and you're going to slow the original disc down, take it off, grab the new one and stick that on as quickly as possible, and then click install. And it will begin installing the modded ISO disc to the console. As you can see there, it's 1% complete so far. So that is the first method of hot swapping. I'm just going to cancel this so I can show you the second method. So we're just going to cancel that. And actually kind of worried about ejecting the tray because it's going to hit the tripod. Let's move this slightly. This could be a disaster. Eject. Ooh, almost. Okay, so just gonna, don't know why I did that, but just gonna put the original disc back on, and what I have to do is open and close the tray so it spins back up again. So this is the second method I'm going to show you. This is the method I used to use. This DVD drive is now flash, so I don't need to hot swap, but when I was hot swapping, this is the method that I used to do. Now this method may work for you, it may not. It really depends on the type of drive that you have in the console, and it also depends on the type of modded ISO discs that you're using, which, like, you know, it could be Verbatim or Aeon or Memorex or whatever you're using. Could be different, the results could be different. So for me anyway, this works perfect on a Lighton DG16D2S, and the reason I'm showing you this method is because it is the safest method, where you're less likely to damage the disc. So method 1, what we did was we swapped the disk while the laser was still turned on. That's kind of dodgy because you have to do it really quickly, which can damage either the original disk or the modded one, and as well as that, you can also damage the disk from the laser, because the laser you can get laser burns on either the modded or the original disk. So this method's a lot safer. What we do is we leave the drive inactive. So again, we go over to game details on the console and hover over install like we did before, but we wait this time for the laser to turn off. And like I said, this will not necessarily work for every drive and every type of disk. It really just depends if you've got the correct drive. It should work fine on a Lighton DG16D2S drive, and there you go, the laser's just turned off. So we can now do this, so I'll zoom back out. With this method, what I'll do now, again like I did last time, just grab the mods. What I'm going to do, will not laser burn the disk this time because the laser's not turned on, and I can be slow and more careful about it. I don't need to rush. And now all I do now is press A to install. The disk spins back up, the laser turns back on, and it starts reading and installing the disk. Here we are back on 1%, starting to install. So that is the two methods. I prefer the second method because it works for my console, for the type of discs I use and the DVD drive I have, and it's safer and you're less likely to damage the disc. But not everybody will be able to do this method depending on the DVD drive and the disc that you're using. It might not install 100%, or it just might not begin to install. But for me it works perfectly, and it's better than the first method because the first method can damage your discs. But if the second method doesn't work for you, you'll have to do the first method. So that's that basically. So next, what we're going to do is the third method. This is the most dodgy, but you will have to do this. So again, I'm going to cancel my install of this game and eject. That's going to go back in because the tray is touching the tripod, jamming it a little bit. So, this next method. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do GTA for this method because a lot of people will be ISO modding GTA now. First thing I have to mention is I do not have my retail copy of episodes from Liberty City. I've either lost it or lent it to somebody and not got it back. Don't know where it is, but so you're just going to have to use your imagination and pretend that this disc is the retail copy, the legitimate version of the game. So pretend that this one is the legit version. And the reason we have to do a third method for GTA is some GTA mod menus, script loaders, require well, what they do is they increase a file on the disk image called the script_network.img, which is the file that contains your mod menu on it. And a lot of coders who make these menus make them so big that it increases the file size of the image file. So when you replace it in Xbox Backup Creator, it gives you an error message saying that, you know, this file is much bigger than the original. You'll probably get an error kind of message in ABGX as well. And the problem with this is that the Xbox cannot detect that it's the correct game. So what I'm going to do is get this disk spun up again and find my modded copy of GTA 4 EFLC, episodes from Liberty City. And again, we're going to go over to game details on the console and hover over install. So say I wanted to do the normal method of hot swapping, which I could do just now. So I'll do the normal method, slow it down with my hand, take the disk out, put the modded one in, and then I press install. And with this one I get a message. Now let me try and see if I can get you guys to see it properly. It says no valid storage devices found. Make sure an Xbox 360 device is inserted and that it has enough space available. The reason it's saying this, I believe, I can't confirm for sure, but I believe the reason is the ISO file is bigger because the script loader mods that are on the disc increase the ISO file size so much that the Xbox does not recognize the modded disc as episodes from Liberty City because it's not the correct size, so therefore it will not allow it to be installed to the hard drive. So when this occurs, it will not happen with every GTA mod. Some GTA mods, the script image may not be bigger than the original, in which case you won't end up with this problem. But if you do end up with this problem, because you've got like a really big script loader menu or something, then you have to do a different method of installing this. Okay, so we've got the retail copy in again. Pretend that's the retail copy, and then here's the modded copy. So once again we're going to press X to go over to game details, then hover over install, and once it gets to 0%, that's when you have to swap the disk. So I'm going to click install, so start trying to install. You've got to swap the disk when it hits 0% and it'll start to install. If you don't do it fast enough, it won't install. I'm not sure if I did that quick enough. Yes, I did. It's now hit 1%. So just to say again, once it hits 0% on the retail disk, that's when you have to swap it. This is the most dodgy version of hot swapping. Unfortunately, you have to do it if you get that message about no storage devices, because it will possibly damage your disk, because it's spinning really fast when it hits 0% and you have to stop it and swap it really quickly. So those are the three methods of hot swapping. So the first method, hover over install, swap the disk while the laser is still turned on and install. Second method, wait for the laser to turn off so it's safer, then you can swap the disk slowly and then click install and it'll start installing. Third method, if you have Grand Theft Auto mods or something that increases the ISO file, increasing the size of the game, and therefore the Xbox, when you try and install it normally with the first or second method, it says no available storage device detected. That's when you have to put the retail disk in, hit A to install. Once it reaches 0% installed, that's when you have to swap the disks. I believe that's the only way when you encounter that storage device problem. So that's how you hot swap, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please remember to leave a like if you found this information useful or you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because I've got lots of other hardware tutorials coming up on my channel, and I've got a JTAG tutorial series as well, and a few other tutorials, other tutorial series that I'm going to be making. So yeah, please stay tuned or subscribe. Comment if you've got any questions about the three methods or just anything about this video. And so far 7%, 8% is installing pretty good. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys in my next tutorial, which will be flashing a DVD drive, a BenQ DVD drive. Well, that will be the next tutorial. Yeah!